What's up, adults with attitude? Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences podcast about Power Rangers. Nostalgia is strong. I'm Dallas, and I was one of the last ArcLight crew members.
Aw, I'm Gabby, and I wasn't a crew member, but I hung out there so much that I think the managers thought that I had previously been a crew member there.
And I'm Demi, and I just want to give my official goodbye to ArcLight because without that theater, we probably would not have this podcast.
Nope.
That's true. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, ArcLight. We will probably have a whole episode dedicated to a farewell ArcLight thing, but for now, we are going to continue on. We went from talking about big, giant fighting monster kaiju things, and we have moved on to big fighting Zords instead. Today, we are going to be talking about the 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Hey!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had the best theme song, hands down.
Yeah, we were having some epic nostalgia last week when we did our Fancast Friday, so we figured why not just continue on with this and watch the 1995 Power Rangers before we head into our Mortal Kombat phase.
Yes,
I love
and
that we're
as
having phases.
right,
Sorry.
just having lovely nostalgic phases of childhood violence. Speaking of that, as a reminder, Colin is not here because his childhood sucked, and ours did not. So,
Dallas.
I mean, he's not here by choice.
He's not here to
Oh my
defend
God.
himself.
Okay,
There's
I
no
was
defense
listening
for him.
to like the podcast from last week, or not last week, the week before last, and you like kept going in on Colin.
What was the week before last?
It was
It was
Godzilla vs. King Kong, and you were like,
Godzilla vs.
Colin
Kong.
doesn't like things. Colin
Oh.
doesn't this, and I was like,
Yeah. Well, Colin knows we love him.
So let's
Yeah.
get into this movie, shall we? 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Let's do it. But before we do it, please like and share and subscribe and review and stuff, because how many other podcasts are doing episodes on the 1995 Power Rangers movie right now? Probably not a lot. I didn't research that.
It's just
But
us.
Yeah.
Probably.
For the sake of my argument, it's just us. So we are your source.
All right. So our first question of these Throwback Thursdays, as always, is: do you guys remember your first time watching this movie, and what were your feelings towards it then? Although we were also 3 when this movie came out, so
Yeah, we were babies.
Yes. I was a small child and I loved it. And I don't remember a lot more than that. Like, I watched it again and again as I got older, and it got sillier and sillier as the years went on. But yeah, first time, I loved it. I was a kid. I was kicking everything in my house, probably.
I think the first time I saw it was at my cousin's house or at some sort of birthday party, and all the kids had like gathered and decided to put it on. I don't think I knew that there was a Power Rangers movie, even though I was like completely obsessed with Power Rangers. Like, I was the Pink Ranger for Halloween super often. And I had realized that like the Pink Ranger really only wore pink, and I was like, I need to only wear pink. Like and it drove my mother nuts. But I was doing that. So yeah, when I was like really little and like at some sort of birthday party event, and I was like, oh my God. It's amazing. Also, I think I realized like the difference in quality between like a Power Rangers episode and like this movie. Like, I was like, damn, this has a budget, even though I was
Yeah.
like definitely under 6 years old.
definitely.
Yeah.
I don't remember my first time watching this movie, obviously, but I do have a very like strong memory of my cousins sons are about her oldest son is a year younger than I am. So I remember her 2 oldest sons owned the movie. I guess they had moved away from Pasadena. They didn't live in Pasadena. They didn't live near us. So they had come to visit. And every time they would come to visit, they would bring that movie with them. And I would obsess over watching this movie to the point where I would try and find a way to hide it from them when they were leaving so that I could keep it for me.
Nice.
Never
Nice.
owned this movie ever in life. But I legitimately was trying to steal it from my cousins whenever they would come to visit me.
I respect it.
That is my memory of this movie, and I've loved it since I was a kid. It's almost like a chicken and the egg sort of situation where I was so young, I don't remember which one came first for me, the TV show or the movie. I don't know if the TV show made me interested in the movie or if the movie made me interested in watching the TV show, but I loved both of them so much as a kid. Still do. It's Like, yeah, like you said, Dallas, you get older and it gets sillier and sillier, but it's still so much fun for me.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's funny going back to like which came first. I had the VHS for the movie, but I also had the VHS for the pilot.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, which I
Oh.
remember it said like Day of the Dumpster, and I don't.
Yeah,
It's like
that's what it's
okay,
called. That
yeah,
Wait, what
it's
happens in the
ridiculous.
pilot?
Power Ranger stuff.
They
Rita
discover
pops out.
They don't get their powers in the pilot. They already
they
have
do.
it.
No, they get their powers. I think they get their powers at
Oh,
the
okay.
end of the pilot.
I know Rita
Oh.
pops out, and then Zordon is like, "Give me some
Ugh,
teenagers,"
I
and
love
then
Rita.
And then
they do all the
they
stuff.
show up. Yeah. But
Yeah,
they
I don't know.
they have unlike the 2017 movie, they like have no training. It just comes naturally to them. They're just like, yeah, we can just do this. I think they say it in the episode too. They're like, this just feels natural, guys. I'm like, what?
And they're like
Cool.
easy to fit it and digest in a 20-minute episode.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. They just suddenly know how to do all this stuff. Although to be fair, a few of them were martial artists. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My grandma's name is one of my grandmother's names is Rita. And so I associated Rita with my grandmother.
That makes sense.
And therefore, like, I knew she was evil, but I like loved her.
oh,
It's like, I love this lady. I know
Feel it.
she's angry, but her hair is all big and like Grammy.
well, we are talking about the movie in particular, though not necessarily a TV series. That would be an interesting thing to talk about, but we're doing the
Sorry.
movie.
Yeah.
So the story, what do you guys think now that we're all grown adults? What do you guys think of the Power Rangers story? I think
Well, let's
Dallas, you usually
let's
give us a description first for those who have never seen this movie.
yes. Also, I want to give everybody their shout outs because a lot of people involved in making and starring in this movie have not been seen a whole lot since. So here's your time to
That's
shine.
true. At least not in the US.
Directed by Brian Spicer, who directed a whole bunch of TV episodes. Apparently, this was his like feature debut, which is like, man, what a way to start. But yeah, he worked on House, Heroes, CSI, X-Files, a whole bunch of other stuff. And written by, I want to say Arn. I should have looked up how to say all these names. I didn't. Arn Olsen, who wrote All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, which I didn't think I knew that movie had a sequel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know that one had a 2, but all right, cool.
Yeah. So shout out to Arn. Starring Jason David Frank, Amy Jo Johnson, David Yost, Johnny Young Bosch, Steve Cardenas, and Karen Ashley as the Power Rangers. The summary, let's see what the summaries. I love the Throwback Thursdays because I always get to read an IMDb summary and I'm always like, what's it going to be today? This one is thorough. A giant egg is unearthed at a construction site and soon opened, releasing the terrible Ivan Ooze, who wreaks vengeance on Zordon for imprisoning him a millennia ago. With Zordon dying and their powers lost, the Rangers head to a distant planet to find the mystic warrior Dulcia. So
That's what happens. That's the movie.
that's like half the synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, that's what happens. If you're going to tell the whole movie, that's a whole different story. That's like the first half of the
Yeah.
movie. But yeah.
But like, dang, y'all gave a lot. Just like, the Power Rangers got to fight Ivan Ooze to save their boy. Like, they told us Zordon is gonna die. They talk about Dulcia by name. Like,
You're like, you didn't need 2 sentences.
they gave us a whole lot.
That's not a log line, guys. We needed something shorter.
Right,
There's spoilers in that log line.
right. There's like
Synopsis.
Zordon is
I'm
dying.
like, Dulcia. Wait, Zordon dying?
Right.
Also, I loved Zordon. He was so cool to me. And when I saw him all old, and I was like,
He always looks like that.
But the story, guys.
Oh yes, the story.
The story.
Yeah, it was cool. It's so funny how I am like incapable of saying anything bad about this movie. It's so
Because you know there's
corny,
flaws,
and
but you're just like,
it's
I
so
can't.
cheesy.
Ugh,
Like
but I
that first
can't.
scene.
It's perfect.
Maybe I
though.
can because the one thing I never liked about Power Rangers, I think even when I was a kid, is Bulk
Oh.
and Skull.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I liked Bulk and Skull.
I hate those guys.
I was like, they're dicks, but they always get their comeuppance.
I was like, why? Why are they even here?
And the Rangers are weirdly nice to them.
Because
They're
they have
nice
no
kids.
attitude. They're the nicest kids in the world. They're just hanging out with the school bullies, like skydiving with them.
Oh god,
That scene
yeah.
lives in my memory. It just lives
I-
rent free in my head.
I love that scene. They're so cool.
Exactly. Like, just lives rent free.
I'm like, wow.
They went skydiving. For what? Why?
And
How?
they-
You're teenagers.
And like they were dressed in like the coolest 90s clothes.
Yeah.
Like they just looked so cool.
It was super
Ugh.
90s. Yeah. I like the story. It was cool. It was nice to get, like, you just assume, oh, Rita's gonna be the bad guy. Rita Godar, the weird pig who wears a monocle for some odd reason.
I love him. He's funny.
The villains were pretty funny, but like then Ivan shows up and he is great. We're gonna talk about him when we get to characters. But yeah, the story it takes us some places. We get some costume changes. We get a lot of fight scenes. I don't think there's character development. They're all nice and then they stay nice, but whatever.
Gabby, what do you think?
I'm also incapable of being mean to this movie. I love it so much. And so we never owned it either. But like what lets me keep like heart with this movie is that the fact that like Zordon was hurt and when like you walk in and everything's like messed up and like he's just sitting in the center there and you're just like, oh no, what are they gonna do? Oh, pulled at my heartstrings. And
And we're grown
in
adults.
a way, only something like this that I watched when I was that little could.
I feel
Like,
That's
I
fair.
feel like people talk about the Care Bears this way, and like I didn't grow up watching the Care Bears, so I don't get it. But like this, like Power Rangers, it like is objectively extremely corny, and yet I'm incapable of being mean to it or like it's it's just exactly what it is. I just love it so much. Oh, it's so good.
So crazy
Ugh.
thing about the story of this movie is the story of this movie has actually inspired actual things that I have written in life before. I always have loved this idea of, hey, get the ragtag team of kids together, take them off to some far off place and train them. And then once they're good enough to be heroes, bring them back and save the day. I've always loved that for some reason. And it's always been because of this particular movie. However, the one thing I did not remember, that they are taken literally to a different planet. I don't know why that never clicked in my head that they are taken to a completely different planet to train. They were taken to Phaedos.
Mine either. I never like.
Me
I thought they
too.
were just
I
on a
never put that
random
together.
island.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
thought they just got sent. Yeah, or in my head, I thought it was like another dimension. I didn't realize it was just a different planet.
Which is wild because there's literally an entire shot of them being taken off planet and into the galaxy
Yep.
somewhere.
Didn't register it.
But the second thing is that I never remembered is that there actually is no training sequence before they get their ninjetti animals. They don't train for those. They just get them. Which
What?
which is
That
wild.
whole thing.
Which is wild to me. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, what? They don't train. I could have sworn they did. And I think I was reading that the woman who plays Dulcia, she had to leave the movie initially for emergency surgery. And they recast her with
Oh, shoot.
Mariska Hargitay, who is probably most well known.
What?
Yeah, she was supposed to be Dulcia. And she wasn't.
Benson?
Yeah, she wasn't clicking, I guess, with the cast or something. Like something wasn't clicking on set with her. So they went on winter vacation, and when winter vacation ended, she called to check on what was going on, and they were like, "Oh no, you're fired," and they got the original girl back, which is wild to me.
They did it like ArcLight.
Yeah, but also,
Aw.
oh man, but also they apparently one of the sequences that they shot with her though was that she takes the Rangers to actually train. And they were like camping out and doing actual training and stuff. And they just didn't put it in the movie because they didn't reshoot it with the actress that they got with the original
Goodness
actress. They
gracious.
never shot it with her. They shot it with Mariska. And that was it.
Wow.
Is there like
All right.
footage of Mariska as Dulcia?
I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder if there's like
Let's
any
Google
public
that.
footage of that because I don't know.
I have to find that.
That's one of your fun facts for the
Oh,
day.
yes,
ladies
there
and gentlemen.
is.
There is?
There's photos.
Oh, there's
Yep,
photos.
there are photographs.
Is she dressed like Dulcia? Ends up dressed in the movie.
Yes, she is.
Yo, I got homework.
Oh
Okay,
my
I'm gonna
goodness.
send it. I'm gonna send photos.
Before we move away from that like ninjetti scene, I've always had an issue with the scene when they're getting their animals
With
and
the-
she goes
Adam?
down the list. Yo, they did Adam so dirty. So
With the
she was like,
frog?
Aisha,
Yeah.
you're the bear, you're fierce and unstoppable. Rocky, the ape, you're powerful and smart. Even though we know Billy's a smart one, but whatever.
Yep.
Billy, the wolf, cunning and swift. Kim, the crane, agile and light as a feather. And she goes to Adam, and she's like, what's wrong, Adam? It's like, first off, you didn't give me any qualities. And just like, I'm a frog. And she says, ah, yes, the frog, like the one you kissed to get a handsome prince. And I'm like, yo,
I'm like, that's it.
Dulcia, that's a cop out. You gave this man no positive adjectives. No little like, you're quick, you can jump,
Nothing.
you like agile. It's nothing. Everybody else gets all these little affirmations, and she's just like, oh yeah, you kiss frogs sometimes, and they turn into princess. Like,
Okay, so Dallas, I got to tell you
disrespect.
another fun fact. So apparently, the "I'm a Frog" line was ad-libbed by Johnny Young Bosch, and
Nice.
Aw.
he absolutely insisted that the director keep it in the movie because he thought that the frog was a lame choice for his character.
I mean, not
Dang.
wrong. We all did. Everyone was thinking that.
You know what? I didn't think of the frog was lame, but it never really occurred to me that she doesn't actually give him a real reason as to why he got the frog.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there was no reason, because if he didn't say that, she would have just walked past him,
Yes, absolutely. Just would have
walked past him, and went right to Tommy.
Well, I feel like there was probably a scene where she was like, the frog, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then he just goes, it's lame. And then it probably sounded like not good. Like,
I don't know, but he
so
said
then
he
they-
only ad-libbed the "I'm a frog" line, which means the line that she says before it, which is "What's wrong," was actually in the script.
oh, goodness.
She didn't like Adam.
She kissed him on the cheek.
Just,
She did.
He-
I
just to
remember
shut him
being
up.
super jealous of him.
He's the lucky
oh yeah,
one.
I
definitely.
was like, oh, she's so pretty.
I mean, yeah, I'll probably take that over like, oh, you're cunning and swift. Like, yeah, whatever. But still,
Yeah, but like, can I get one right here?
Right.
Oh my goodness. Since we're talking about characters, we should
Yes.
probably move on to the characters.
So one thing I do remember about this movie is when I was a kid, I was wondering where Zach and Trini were,
Mm.
because Black Ranger, black,
Yeah.
Yellow Ranger, Asian. That was the easy way to keep track when I was a kid.
And they
Threw
switched
that
him
off.
up this time.
I was like, who's this girl? And who's that guy? He's not pop locking. He ain't crip walked once. That's not Zach. But then it's funny because I didn't notice that Rocky wasn't Jason,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like when I was a kid, Rocky just looked like a white boy to me. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure that dude is Latinx.
He is. He's
But-
I think he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I was a kid, I was just like, he looks enough like Jason. Maybe that's Jason. I don't know. I was like 5.
I was there for Tommy and Kimberly anyway.
Yeah.
Of course.
And Billy, like those 3, I was like, they're still here. We're good. I'm fine. Fine with all
I
of
was
this.
here for Tommy and Kimberly, and my feels this time around as an adult were still hitting hard.
Mine were hitting harder than they were when I was a kid.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, Kimberly.
I was like, I'm getting my
I
shipper
loved
feels.
Kimberly. I just loved her.
When the dinosaur is attacking and she just keeps calling for Tommy, I was just like, oh, she's calling for her boyfriend.
It's so funny to me because we were talking on Twitter
We were- I was
how
thinking
much
about
that's
that.
just like Finn in Star Wars. Ray, Ray.
It's literally what happened.
That's all I could think of. Tommy.
It
It's
was
like, yo,
fantastic.
Tommy's busy right now getting
His ass
He's trying to
beat.
mollywop
beat
these
up by
dinosaur
dinosaur.
bones.
exactly.
Oh my goodness. So great though. I can't it's just
Yeah.
it's great. Also, I thought Dulcia was cool, which is crazy because Dulcia is barely in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, why
But
did I
she
think
made an impression.
I mean, you
Oh,
you
boy,
have to
did
make
she.
an impression in that outfit. If you don't make an impression
Ugh.
in that outfit, I don't know what you're doing.
Ugh,
I don't know
it's
why they did
amazing.
that, but I have zero complaints about it.
Yeah, me
I don't
either. I
understand.
do not care.
Well,
Nobody
it-
I
cares.
remember
Her outfit was based on the Amazons, but I'm just like, we're children.
I
Why?
do
She's not
not
wearing
care.
anything.
like the first time I saw it older, I was like, I do not remember that at all. Like they put that in the movie.
They put that in for the parents that were like, "Ugh, I gotta go take my
Yes.
kids to this."
Yeah,
and then they were like,
apparently. Also,
Like, okay.
I found it very interesting that I think it was a good choice to have her color scheme be green, because if you are a Power Rangers fan, when she first appears, she is supposed to seem like she's a threat and not necessarily an ally. So it's kind of cool that she's wearing green, because the last time we saw a green associated anything, it was the Green Ranger and he was out here being evil.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting.
Mollywopping everybody.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was like a
Mhm.
purposeful choice. I kind of hope it was, because I think that's pretty cool one, pretty good one. And then our villain of the movie, Ivan Ooze, who has, again, rent free in my head, because Ivan Ooze is cool.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I've never forgotten about Avenues. He's really funny.
Yeah,
Like
he is.
not just like corny 90s movie funny. Like some of his jokes still land with me. Like when they show up and they're like, "We're the Power Rangers," and he's like, "Woo wee, let me get my autograph book." And I was like,
That line.
why is he so sarcastic? All of his lines are so sarcastic. It's great. He's so great.
I don't know why Ivan. I don't know. I think it might have been like the character design, the fact that he's this big purple dude with the purple beard, the purple putty that he's using, and just everything about Ivan Ooze has like stuck with me since childhood. Like that's one of the things that I remember most about that movie is Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
Ivan Ooze and Phaedos, even though I didn't remember it was a different planet, I remember that sequence. I remember
Yeah.
that part of the movie so well. That stuck with me a lot as a kid.
Yeah. I love a good makeover. So that scene was like new outfit.
Power Rangers got new outfits and new animals. Awesome.
I was like, "Oh my god, yes." Ugh, so cool.
That was super dope. Also, shout out to Paul Freeman, who plays Ivan Ooze, and who I just realized is in Hot Fuzz. So, any Hot Fuzz fans out there, he's the Reverend who inexplicably runs around with guns because Edgar Wright movies are silly. So, if you like Hot Fuzz, that guy's Ivan Ooze. Enjoy that. Yeah.
Wild.
They had a number of really great actors up for that role too.
Oh,
He
nice.
was in Indiana Jones.
Nice.
He was the guy
that
that
dude.
Jones is competing with the entire first movie.
Oh, okay. That dude be acting.
That
That
dude
dude
be
be
acting.
acting.
And here he is in a Power Rangers movie.
Right? You gotta love it. But yeah, it was good to see Rita and Goldar the way that they were when I was kids.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love the 2017 version, like one of the things I don't love about it is how Goldar is just a big gold like weapon kind of in the new one.
Yes, he is.
I don't know. And he doesn't say anything interesting in this movie, but it's just nice to see him again. He's like a blue-faced wolf with gold and he has wings. It's like I don't know what this creature is, but it looks super dope.
He's so badass. I really
Right.
liked Goldar. He was one of the characters that I was like, I know he's bad, but like the
Yeah, he's super cool. He's
aesthetic.
like bright red eyes,
Yeah.
like
he just
canine
looks so
face.
cool.
Also, Rita was just like thirsting over Ivan Ooze.
The minute he approaches.
As soon as he shows up, she's like, "Oh, what a man! This is a real man." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Yo, chill." Also, are her and Zed like a thing?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
I've never thought
Ivan
about it.
pops up, and then she has this moment, which is basically like when Buzz Lightyear shows up, and Bo Peep was like, "Found my moving buddy."
Yeah.
She's like, "Ooh, a real man," and Zed just kind of looks at her like, "Shut up." But they're funny, and Zed, like, it's just so the level of cheesy is so perfect. Like Zed introduces himself as "I'm Lord Zed, enemy of all that is good and decent." And I was like, we're not even gonna try to have nuance.
No.
No.
This man is as
Absolutely not.
evil as possible. He's like Azalea Banks on Twitter.
Literally,
And I love
the
it.
Power Rangers is the villains are as evil as you can possibly make them, and the good guys are as nice of kids as you can possibly make them. Until we get a little
Exactly.
later on, because then we get a couple of bad kids as Power Rangers. But like, Mighty Morphin was like, "Yo, these are the nicest kids you will ever meet in life," and of course they're superheroes. Why wouldn't they be?
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
so good and nice.
They're the best kids.
Before we move on, though, I was mentioning earlier that there were some pretty awesome actors up for the role of Ivan Ooze. So these are people who were considered for the role: Rowan Atkinson, Phil Collins, Tim Curry, Danny DeVito, and Christopher Lloyd.
Yo. Christopher Lloyd.
Rowan
That would've been
Atkinson, is that
amazing.
Zazu?
I believe it is, yes.
That's super
Mr.
weird.
Bean.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Also,
I mean,
Joseph
for it.
Gordon-Levitt was considered for the role of the kid in that movie.
Oh, that would have been great.
Oh, Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kid was interesting. It's like the only kid in the entirety of Angel Grove who was like, yo, where's my dad?
Yeah. Everyone else is like, I do not care. I'm having a great time.
We're having
Why
a
are you being
party.
a buzzkill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Your parents have been gone for days. You guys aren't worried or at least curious.
It's like Jimmy Neutron the movie. Like, no, my parents are gone. I'm going to party for a few days and then be like, oh, wait, I kind of miss them now.
This is why people like Gabby think that all kids are psychopaths.
yep.
Not all of them are, because you see
Did
we
you
have
see
kids
that?
like Fred.
Only one kid in a whole town cared that his dad was gone. One.
That's true.
Just one.
One kid, little Fred.
Just one.
Yes.
Little adorable Fred. Also,
people
like,
thought-
Fred was put in there to like have the audience feel like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I could help. The
I
Exactly,
could hang out
and
with the Power Rangers.
And I love that. I love when movies do that. The Last Jedi also does that a little bit with with Broom Boy.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
love that. I love that analog for. I like having an analog for small children because I think that's inspiring for kids. A lot of people also thought that Fred should have gone on to actually be the Gold Ranger in Zeo or Turbo, one of them. Because at the end of the movie, he says he would be the Silver Ranger or the Gold Ranger.
Yeah, that was cool.
People were like, yeah, he should have came back and actually did that. How cool would that have been?
That would have been super dope. But yeah, we can move on from the characters. After I say this other fun fact, that the actress who played Dulcia is only 2 years older than the actor playing Billy, because Billy is so freaking old.
Oh,
But we love him anyway.
David
Yeah.
Yost, we love you.
I love
But-
David Yost.
You were at least a few years older than everybody else.
That happens.
And it showed. It does.
Wait, how
They
much
didn't care in the
older was
90s.
he than everyone else?
I think he's like maybe a couple years older than Kimberly. The rest of them are like younger than those two.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was
I
what,
love
20?
Amy Jo Johnson,
26,
and she still
25?
works. She's still like making TV in Canada.
He's a year older
Dope.
than her.
Right. I was looking it up when I watched it, and then I stopped looking it up. 'cause
And
I
then the
stopped
rest of
watching
them
it.
are just a few years younger.
And then Dulcia is like 2 years older than him. It's a whole thing. Also, Gabby sent us pictures of Mariska as Dulcia, and man, like I'm happy with what we got,
But
but also I want to see the Mariska cut of this movie.
I mean, it's not a
Anyway.
full movie, but all right.
I want to see that scene. All right. Speaking of things we see, visuals.
And sound.
Let's talk about the visuals.
We don't see the
and
sound,
sound.
but we do hear it. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you can see the sounds. Whenever they like punch something, I can see those.
Oh my god. Okay. They flip so much.
they do.
It is ridiculous how much I get it. It does look cool because when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh my god, I wish I could do a backflip right now."
Exactly.
But like watching as an adult, there's a couple scenes that stuck out to me. I think both involve Kimberly
Yes.
because there's one
She's
where
the
she
gymnast.
like starts. Yeah, but they
Yeah.
all do it. It's ridiculous. Like there's one where Kimberly is like on the ground because she got knocked down, and Billy's like, "Kimberly." And instead of running to her, he turns his back to her and then just backflips over to her. And it's
Okay.
like, Billy.
But those flips were why I liked them so much. I was like, hell yeah, we're about to watch some people flip.
It was so like when they're like jumping over someone or like jumping off of something, it's like cool. But it's like you're just running over to see if she's okay. Why are you backflipping? And then I can't remember if it's before or after that. They do a thing where I think it's Kimberly and Billy again, but I might be wrong. They're like trying to outrun the little creatures. And she just starts backflipping the full way down the like across the whole place. And then he goes like, "Right behind you, Kimberly," and then he starts backflipping.
Yes. That's early on in the movie.
And I was like, yeah, there's no way you guys can do this faster than you could just run. Just
Yeah.
run. If you're trying to get away, just run.
But it looks cooler, Dallas.
It looks super
it does
cool.
look cooler.
And then that one where Tommy jumps off like the top of a crane and he backflips so much that it stops looking believable. they're like front flipping him and then like he doesn't land. So they just keep turning him around.
The great thing about kids'
That's the best.
movies is that kids don't care about physics, the laws of the world, anything.
Yes.
So you can do
No.
stuff like this. And as a kid, you're just like, that's super cool. Because, physics don't matter. You don't know what physics are. But then, like, you get to be an adult and you're like, that's so ridiculous. But yet, I commend them for doing it because as a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing in the universe. They were like, what
Yeah, like,
looks the
it's-
coolest? And they did it.
A backflip. So let's
Yeah.
put that in there.
It's a win-win because it goes from when you're a kid, it looks super dope. And then when you're an adult, it's hilarious. So it's like, either way, I love this.
Yeah, exactly.
We're incapable of talking shit about this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I actually don't even know what visuals like to talk about. I mean, like the action sequences are like out of control. They're just as like, what's the coolest thing we can do in an action sequence and do it? And that's really awesome because it's the Power Rangers. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And then
The fighting looked really dope.
yeah,
like-
and then you've got your 1995 PS1 looking CGI for the
Oh,
third act.
boy.
Oh yeah.
Even
Ooh.
before the third, like anytime that Ivan needs to like
Do
turn
something,
into
yeah.
ooze and go through like a door or something, I was
Yeah.
like, yo, this man.
But it's really
Y'all coulda just
obvious
left
in
that
the
up.
third act because it's nothing but Zords fighting.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really obvious that they were like, what was that Terminator goo that we used? Let's use that. Let's turn it purple.
Let's try.
Turn it purple.
Turn it purple.
But yeah, those Zords, they looked bad.
And yet, as a kid, I
yeah.
thought they looked like the coolest things in the universe.
They
Yep.
did.
Like the Falcon
they were
Zord looked
definitely
awesome.
Animation, right? They were like stop motion, right?
No,
The
they're not.
Zords?
I doubt that.
Yeah.
No, those had to be animated.
Those are definitely
with how they
computer
looked.
animated. Those are
Like the little frog just kind of like jumping.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, 1995
Ugh.
CGI, man.
Beautiful.
It
We've
looked
come
great
so
at the
far.
time.
Yeah, we have
Oh
come
yeah.
so far in like less than 30 years. We've come to such a magnificent point in time for
Yep.
CG.
Technology.
Technology, SpongeBob. We have it. Um, yeah, I don't even know. Like it's like the most ridiculous thing to watch, the most ridiculous thing to hear because everything is just so emphasized. And that it's the joke that you make about Power Rangers all the time. Like they land somewhere and something explodes unnecessarily because it's the Power Rangers. Like that's how
Ugh.
this works. I always thought that their ninjetti costumes were super cool.
They
Me
looked
too.
amazing.
Yep.
Oh my
They're
god, they
so
still
cool.
look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Low key, can we be Ninjetti for Halloween?
Ninjetti were
I'd love
oh
to.
my goodness, yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll say this. Something that was really, really good about this movie, their sets were amazing. The Phaedos
Yeah.
sets, like the temple where they go to,
Yeah.
the throne room for Zed and Rita is amazing. Command Center is always amazing, but man, the sets that were supposed to be Phaedos are A plus. Those are super
Yeah.
good. I thought those were really cool. I was like, even nowadays, I would be like, that's a cool set that you've designed there. Like that's a really
Yep.
cool place. I would
It
hang
looks
out there.
super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that whole. We say Phaedos. That's what it's called. The place they're
Phaedos.
going
Yeah.
to.
I believe it's called
Yeah,
Phaedos.
it was dope. Like fighting all the rock people and the Jurassic Park skeleton thing.
Yep.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. That line has also stayed in my head for the entirety of my life since I've seen that movie. I will recite it in the same tone and never really realize what I'm referencing when I do it.
Yeah, it's
This
man
movie
that they
referenced
had.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
when they
remember
yeah.
that part.
I think Adam says it, but I'm not. I think
Yeah.
it's Adam.
It's one of my favorite lines in the movie, along with the I was telling you guys when we did the fan cast, the when they do the little tree maneuver when one goes up and the other goes down, it's elevator going up,
Oh,
elevator going down.
Mm.
I
Talk about a
love that
splitting
one.
headache.
Yes,
It's
that one's great.
my favorite exchange in the
Dang.
whole movie.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Like, does Billy say talk about a splitting headache?
Yeah, I think it's Billy.
Yo, Billy is the most extra person because first off, Billy's the one who backflipped over to Kimberly to see if she's okay, and then the whole time they're talking, he's doing like this with his arms, like every line, and even when he does a splitting headache, talk about a splitting headache. It's like, yo,
And notice every time
I love it.
every time I have quoted that line to you guys, I always do the little arm motion to
Yeah,
go with
you
it.
have to.
You have to.
Because he like looks at the camera
Oh
and
my
says,
God.
"Talk about it." The puns.
It's
And
amazing.
they literally have a nice trip, see you next fall in this movie, and it's like
That was
did.
for children.
they went for everything they could.
They
and I
needed a
love it.
pun counter at the left corner of the screen so that we could just see how many puns were made throughout this movie.
I wish I could have been in this movie. Just like the little quips that they get to say at all times.
It's like
just seems
Spider-Man
so
on
enjoyable.
steroids with all the quips, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
But also they all make those like really like unnecessary movements when speaking, especially in uniform, mostly in uniform.
Oh yeah, in uniform.
Yeah, in
Well,
uniform,
it's
they
because
like,
like you can't see their mouths, so they have to just
Yeah.
like
Well,
mime it.
another fun fact, initially they shot the fight sequences, a number of them without the helmet so that you could actually see the emotion on their faces. And then they were like, nah, it's not working out too much. Put the helmets back on. And so they reshot them. So
hey, you gotta have the helmet on.
yeah, because the fight, they said that the fights were more intense because the helmets were on and you couldn't see their faces, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I can see
Also,
that.
the initial fight when they're fighting the Tengu warriors, when they first get to the island, the bird things, initially that sequence was a lot more gruesome, I guess, a lot more intense because apparently they were supposed to like get slashed with their talons and they were supposed to get slashed by beaks and there were going to be blood coming off of injuries. Kimberly was supposed to have like her back slashed by one of them. Like it was
Ooh,
supposed to
very
be a
Natalie
thing.
Portman.
And they
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones. And then they
Yeah.
I think they reshot it and took it out because they were already getting complaints from parents about how violent the TV show was.
And it wasn't even that violent. It was corny AF.
It was, but I mean, like, don't bloody up my kids' heroes.
Yeah, but also they were also shooting the TV series at the same time as shooting this movie. So,
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
yeah, that sounds like a lot of work, to be honest.
That's so much work.
All right, we should move on to our next topic, which is what is your favorite aspect of this film?
Everything except Bulk and Skull, which is good because they're only in the beginning and the end, and everything else I was just able to enjoy.
Gabby?
I love this entire movie so much. Like, I know that it's really corny, This is very much made for like little kids. But I love it so much. All of it.
Yeah.
Especially the Pink Ranger. She was my favorite.
I didn't prepare for this answer, and I should have. I've had a few days to prepare for it, and I didn't prepare. I actually don't know what my answer is. I'm probably going to agree with you guys and just be like, I just love this movie. And you know that I'm typically a little bit more critical than all of you guys about movies. And I have no capability of being critical when it comes to this movie because it's a movie that
No.
I've watched for so long. And I'm like, I know what this is. I know what it's setting out to be. And it does exactly that. And it does it perfectly.
Ugh, it's beautiful.
I do love me my Tommy and Kimberly moments, especially the one at the beginning when they get to Phaedos and he's trying to ease her mind. Love that. I do love that Kimberly is the one who is most concerned about Zordon. Like when the others walk away from the body, she's still standing right there, which is kind of cool.
Yo, I thought that was funny, only because so they get back. Zordon is like looking, slightly more dead than usual, and then they're all worried, and she's like, "Oh no, Dad," basically, which is like, I get it. Cool. She's very worried about Zordon. That was good to have for her character. But the reason they all leave that body is because they hear Alpha, and he's like, and they're like, "Oh my God, Alpha, are you okay?" And she does not go check on him.
Does not care.
She's like, you annoying, bro.
She's like, that is not my dad.
She's like, I care about Zordon.
Yeah, I care about Zordon. That robot can get rebooted. I don't care. But they're all like, Alpha, are you okay? And she's not over there. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, man. I don't think I ever noticed that she's not with the rest of the Rangers when that happens. And then I was like, oh, Kimberly is still back here with Zordon. Just like, she cares, bro. She cares.
She was worried.
She's like one of this like stronger actors in the group.
That's probably why she left the show to go do other stuff.
Yeah. But like so I feel like they were like, well, which one of you guys can give us like really strong emotional stuff? Well, it's Amy. So Amy's going to be the one to do this scene. Like,
yeah. They're like, somebody has to care about Zordon more. Which of you can act?
Yeah. Cuz she's like still working. So like
yeah, but no. But like I said, also, this was the era of long hair Tommy, and wow. I think Tommy Oliver was legitimately the first crush I've ever had in life.
It's funny you bring that up because when I was watching this, I was thinking, was Kimberly my first crush? Because I just assumed it was Ashley Banks from Fresh Prince. Shout out to Tatiana Ali. She's been bad forever. But I was like, I'm sure I got into Power Rangers before I got into Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
But also, I might just have a new appreciation for Kimberly watching the movie as an adult.
I thought it was crazy because I was like, yo, you guys really got her in this crop top in these short shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, it was very 90s. But like, also, it wasn't like...
It didn't feel inappropriate.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because they put the vest over it.
Yeah, it didn't feel inappropriate.
Put that denim vest over it.
I must say that my shipper feels were also going crazy because she was wearing a white, like a fully white top. There was no pink anywhere whatsoever except for the shorts. And I was like, oh, look, the white and the pink, white and pink Ranger. Let's go. I'm finding anything I can, guys. I'm finding anything I can. 5-year-old me right now is so happy.
I feel like they were like, we need a G rating. We can't have any kissing, but we can have long looks at each other and comforting.
And heartfelt emotional talks.
Yeah.
And having them stand right next to each other all the time.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
And we can, for some reason, have Dulcia cheeked up in that island with all these teenagers.
You make a valid point.
That was the concession. They were like, okay, you can have Dulcia, but if those two kiss, it's PG, guys. It is PG.
It's PG-13 at that
wild
point.
Time.
Oh my God.
I love the 90s so much.
Yeah, I can't explain my love of this movie outside of I saw it when I was a very small child, and it does not get old. It does not get bad. Like, if I was to recommend this to people, I couldn't recommend this to people who weren't into Power Rangers as kids because you, like Gabby said, you won't understand
you won't
what's enjoyable. I made Colin watch it in 2017. When the 2017 movie came out, we had him watch it the day before the 2017 movie came out, and he just like was not into it, could not understand, and me and Jesse were just like, but dude, it's like it's Power Rangers. But like, yeah, literally, this is not a movie for people who did not grow up with the Power Rangers and who have no interest in the Power Rangers. Like, my 12-year-old brother caught me watching it on my computer, and he looks over and he goes, what are you watching? Which Power Rangers is that? And I was like, it's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. And he goes, where are you watching it? I told him where I found it. And he was like, Okay, I'm gonna go look it up right now. I think he went to go
Nice.
watch it immediately. Like, if you don't like
As he
Power
should.
Rangers, this movie is not for you.
You know what it is that also ignited the fire? So like at the time, you could really only watch it if it was on TV, right? And then for years, it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was gone.
Yeah.
And then when we were in like middle school and like early high school,
Disney bought Power
they
Rangers.
started doing and they started doing reruns on like one of their channels, and it was like so they like restoked our like love for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. But like I said, I also watched generations of Power Rangers. Not immediately after Mighty Morphin, but I've watched a couple of other generations once I got to like middle school. And I really liked those.
Nice.
It's what it is, man.
This is a lifestyle.
Yes, I'm glad to be doing this episode with you two.
Yeah, you either love Power Rangers or you don't. And that's what it is. Also, I honest to God think that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie was the first action movie that I liked and loved.
I can see that, given when it came out.
Yeah, at that point I was watching Disney movies, or I was watching Sound of Music, or I was watching whatever movies my parents were watching. But like, I think Power Rangers was the first action movie that I really loved. Like, I got to see all these people just fight all the time, and it was cool.
Yep.
Also, before we leave, Demi, do you remember when we met Rocky?
No, we met Rocky?
He was at Pasadena Comic-Con that year that we went.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait, I was there too, wasn't I?
No,
No.
it was
I
just
don't-
me
No, that
and
was
Dallas,
not.
and I think I brought my little brother. I bought that Harley Quinn picture that day, and the Darth Vader one.
Yeah. And David was there. Shout out to David if you're listening. But yeah, he was like, oh my God, it's the Red Ranger. And I was like, it's not the Red Ranger. I remember that well, but you are the Red Ranger.
You are the
And I was
Red
like,
Ranger.
oh, you're Rocky. But yeah, shout out to Steve Cardenas going to Pasadena Comic-Con. That was fun.
That was fun. Well, guys, that's been our Throwback Thursday for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Next week, if you guys join us, we will be talking about another 1995 movie, the 1995 adaptation of Mortal Kombat. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, and possibly somewhere in between, we will be talking about the death of Arclight and some of our favorite memories from
Working there.
that place, and some of our least favorite memories.
And hanging out there.
But yeah, no, we'll be doing our farewell Arclight episode at some point, hopefully within the next week. Probably sometime between this one and Mortal Kombat.
Yes,
Yeah.
assuming that some rich person doesn't
Buy
save
it.
it before that comes out. Yeah,
We'll see
'cause
what happens.
the Hollywood people are not happy. All the
Yeah.
famous directors and actors are like, yo,
Yeah, it's because they all stayed going to like the ArcLight in Pasadena and stuff.
And
like,
Hollywood. No, it's
and
Hollywood.
everything.
Hollywood is
It's
what people.
mostly
it's
Hollywood.
Mostly Hollywood. We know our place.
That's fair.
we're not the favorite.
We're not the favorite. We're like
We
third
were
or
for a
fourth.
minute there though.
We're like third or fourth.
yeah,
Hollywood is number one.
Yeah.
that's fair.
And I bet they still didn't get an email about it. Anyway, moving on.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Yes, audience, thank you for joining us on this journey down memory lane. As always, thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon, and I for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Gabby and Demi, thank you both for just enjoying this with me, being positive,
Yes.
not bringing any kind of negativity,
No.
not disliking things that we universally love. Colin, thank you for nothing.
Dallas.
He's not here. What can I thank him for? Anyway, audience, what do you think of the 1995 Power Rangers movie? Did you grow up with it? Did you see it for the first time as an adult and still somehow like it? Because if you did, I'm curious. I want to know about that. You can let us know in the medias. Twitter, y'all_different. Instagram and Tumblr, Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you can find me a Ninja Power Rangers costume, please hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at the King Named Simba. I prefer blue or black.
Why don't we just make them and do a group Halloween costume?
I don't know how to make things, but if you want to make it,
we could talk to my mom. She sews.
I'm with it.
Hey.
Tell her I prefer blue or black.
Well, no, you have to come over for her to get your measurements.
You're right. You're right.
I think I'll let Gabby have the Pink Ranger just so I can dress as the White Ranger because he has the cool little vest thing on the top, which is dope.
Yes, thank you.
Gabby, you don't want to dress as Dulcia?
Stop it.
No, I don't think I could pull that off. No.
Gotta believe in yourself.
And I'm Gabby, and you can find me at Stegosaurus on the Instagrams.
And I'm Demi. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thank you guys again for joining us for this Power Ranger nostalgia.
And you can find Colin on Twitter at whitepower_ranger. I told him not to put white power in his Twitter name, but he
Dallas.
insisted.
Dallas.
It's it's been different. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know when I'm going to stop laughing at that.